And we're back. Here we are. It's your daily crypto news, and it's Tuesday, March 23rd, 2024. My name is Matt. Let's get straight into it. Centralized exchanges. They are already listing Bitcoin runes. If you listened to yesterday's show, we did basically a 101 of giving you basic info on what Bitcoin runes are. And well, they're getting listed on some exchanges. Gate.io, which I used to call shitcoin mecca, which is true, but I wouldn't call runes a shitcoin yet. Anyway, Gate.io has already listed 3 of the earliest runes tokens on Bitcoin. They listed Satoshi Nakamoto, Meme Economics, and Manco runes. Other notable rune tokens minted on Bitcoin blockchain in the first set of 10 projects include Rodimer's own Uncapped Uncommon Goods, and Uncommon Goods has an endless supply, and the soon-to-be airdropped Dog Go to the Moon rune. Oh, and we can't forget the RSIC Genesis rune. Binance, by the way, I love the Dog Go to the Moon rune. That's the one I would probably degen into. Anyway, Binance, they sent a weird tweet the other day, and it looks as though they are teasing listing runes on Binance. They didn't list BRC20s until months after it launched, but when they did, there was hundreds of $millions in volume and led ordinals to around a $1 billion valuation. And so, if you're looking for your next degen move, look for runes on centralized exchanges. I am. Not financial advice, obviously. Independent candidate for president RFK Jr. said on Sunday that blockchain tech will play a key role in making the U.S. government more transparent. He's calling for a Web3 makeover of the federal budget. He said, "I'm putting the entire U.S. budget on the blockchain." Which blockchain is that? No, it's just the blockchain. Okay, we'll gloss over that. So that every American can look at every budget item on the entire budget anytime they want, 24 hours a day. He continued to say, "We're going to have 300 million eyeballs on our budget. And if somebody is spending $16,000 for a toilet seat, everybody's gonna know about it." Last July, for example, RFK Jr. proposed backing the US dollar with reserves of Bitcoin, and he also acknowledged that central bank digital currencies could be a slippery slope toward financial surveillance of the United States, which I would argue that we already have financial surveillance of the United States or the US citizens. Debit cards, credit cards, going through Chase Bank, and then selling your data to advertisers is absolutely a form of surveillance. Reuters reported that PDVSA, and PDVSA is a Venezuelan state-owned or government-owned oil company, and they're trying to integrate USDT or the USDT stablecoin as a hedge against having their foreign bank accounts frozen. Venezuela launched its first experiment with crypto at around 2018 as a way to bypass the dollar, but it never really took off. The sanctions on Venezuela include targeted sanctions on individuals, economic sanctions, including restrictions on dealings with new debt and equity issued by the Venezuelan government and a state-owned oil company, PDVSA, sector-specific sanctions, for example, blocking U.S. companies and individuals from transacting involving Venezuelan oil, and also sanctions on diplomatic measures. I feel like I have a big tongue the past couple of days. Like I can't get words out and pronounce them properly. So if I'm not pronouncing words properly, just bear with me. I have no clue why I have a big tongue. Anyway, Change Healthcare. They finally admit that they paid the ransomware to hackers. Ransomware. See, I did it again. Ransomware. What is that? Ransomware to hackers. If you guys remember a couple months ago, Change Healthcare got hacked. They got hacked by a hacker gang known as Alpha V or Black Cat. And this cyber criminal group extorted the company, and they held all of their data for ransom. And they said, "Hey, pay us in Bitcoin." This was pretty big. I have a lot of friends and family in the medical industry, and, well, they were hearing it firsthand. They're like, all the data is blocked. We got to pay a ransom. And apparently they paid around 350 Bitcoins or $22 million. The problem is this hacker group is not playing fair, it seems. And the company still faces potential patient data leaks online. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF continued its hot streak, adding inflows for the 70th straight day. That puts the BlackRock iBit ETF in the top 10 exchange-traded funds with the longest daily streaks of inflows ever. The number one is JP Morgan's Equity Premium income ETF, or JEPI, and it tops the list with 160 days of inflows. But if BlackRock can keep this up for the next 15 days, every day that they do that, they basically move up the ladder. There's only 13 days of net inflows left between the 70 days that BlackRock has now and the 83 days to move them into the number 5 spot. Speaking of exchange-traded funds, this one's kind of interesting. Grayscale is prepping a new Bitcoin exchange-traded fund with the lowest fees on the market. Grayscale said that this new mini trust would have fees of 0.15%. That's lower than BlackRock's iShare Bitcoin Trust, which is at 0.25% or 0.25%, and that's after a 12-month promotional period of 0.12%. Eric Balkunas said, interesting, Grayscale launching a new mini-me low-fee version of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which investors in Grayscale Bitcoin Trust will be able to get into without a tax hit, I believe, via a special dividend. This was called 4 months ago. It's a no-brainer in our opinion. Don't know the exact fee yet, though. Well, we now know the exact fee. And a reply to that was quite interesting as well. The reply was, why not just adjust the fee on the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust? Why keep investors who don't want the tax consequences of selling Grayscale Bitcoin Trust locked into the high-fee product? To me, this says that they're going concern that their business is at risk if they can't continue to collect high fees on a large portion of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Eric says, I get this take. This is the push and pull of running a business and trying to fight the fee wars, which makes customers happy. BlackRock already dealt with this dilemma years ago, 10 years ago, with Vanguard. They chose the same move to offer a cheap version of popular products as to keep some revenues. So this is actually interesting because if you have a Grayscale Bitcoin Trust and you sell it, you have that tax consequence. And so the 1.5% that the trust is charging its hodlers is way cheaper than the tax consequence. So they're keeping it there. But there's so many more ETFs out there with cheaper fees, so they want to move. And so Grayscale is making a mini-me, they say, low-fee version, which they could just convert straight over to that lower version if they want to. And then some people will still pay the fees. So they're trying to figure out a balance between revenue and low-fee Bitcoin ETFs. I think it's quite interesting. FTX is going to start selling off the rest of its locked Solana tokens. FTX had to start selling off its Dash. Well, they had around $7.5 billion of locked Solana tokens. And people were getting massive discounts. For example, Pantera's Solana fund was going to buy up around $250 million worth of Solana from the FTX estate in early March. They were hoping to pay 39% lower than the Solana's 30-day average price of $59.95. That's $59.95. Sounds like a price at Walmart or Target, more so than the Solana price. Later that month, Vancouver-based Neptune Digital Asset Corporation announced on March 27th that it bought 26,664 Solana for $1.7 million, or around $63 a piece. People are upset. It's like, oh, so you have money, you could buy some cheap Solana. Well, it looks like there's going to be a new approach. FTX creditors are going to have access to this with the minimum investment at around $5,000 compared to the previous $5 million threshold for direct purchases. So that really lowers the bar to getting some of that cheap Solana. And rounding it off today, remember Nadeem Anjarwalla? He was one of the executives that was detained in Nigeria, and he went to pray because of Ramadan, and he dipped. He had a Kenyan and a British passport, and he used that Kenyan passport to get out of Nigeria, and he's been on the run ever since, well, until now. Apparently, Nadeem has been caught, arrested in Kenya, and faces extradition to Nigeria this week. This story is wild. I'm happy that people are still reporting on this because we got to get closure to this. This is a wild story. Now let's get into those crypto prices.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
And the time is 9:37 a.m. Eastern Daily Savings Time. Fear Greed is at 65. We are greedy. Bitcoin sitting at $66,234, up 0.6% in 24. And I get an occasional email saying like, hey, Bitcoin didn't go down to that $55,000 you were saying. Trust me, I don't want it to go to 55. But again, we didn't have that breakout moment up or down yet. We're still going sideways. No matter what the price is, we are still going sideways. And all of this between 62 and 66, this is just a channel that it's bouncing around in, right? Until we get that breakout moment, we're still going sideways. There's no up or there's no up and there's no down. And trust me, I don't want to go down to 55. Can I be wrong? Absolutely. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope we just go up only. Ethereum's at $3,185, pretty much even from yesterday. Tether's number 3. Binance is at 605, up 2%, and Solana is at 154, up 0.3%. Rounding off the top 10, we have USDC, XRP, Dogecoin. Toncoin is down 7.5%, and Cardano is number 10. The total market cap is at $2.43 trillion. Bitcoin dominance of 53.6%, and Ethereum is a 16% dominance. And that was our show today. Remember to check us out on Substack. Subscribe to that. Get a little synopsis of the show in our daily blog. We also are putting stuff behind the paywall. So if you want your podcast without ads, you can pay $5 a month on our Substack and listen to them there. Ad-free, and you support the show. And until tomorrow.
Unhappy, hodling, everyone.